I did some research. I found out that most women never marry the man they really want to be with. Oh, I'm about to mess up the church's money, ain't it? Let me tell you, this is how I figured it out. Let me tell you something you've never heard a man say since you've been alive. You've never heard a man say this since you've been on this planet. You've never heard a man say, she grew on me. But every woman knows a woman who would say in front of the man she loved, committed to God, financed the wedding and his family. When I first met him, he was not my type at all. He was short. He was going bald. He had little small hands. I don't like men with small hands, but I mean, eventually he grew on me.
That's because men love and women use.
I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not.
Everywhere you go, you're an anomaly. You're the original anomaly. And all this time, I have been the only one holding it all together.
Miguel, go easy on him.
You don't belong here. You never did. Has no idea what he's doing.
And I'm about to do this. Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
War isn't a game, girl.
That's funny. Soldier 76 said the same thing.
You spend your second chance at life walking a lonely road.
No one cares, monk.
Someone always cares. You must simply seek them out.
I shouldn't be surprised you took his side.
You never gave me much choice. Wanna know what Martina's been up to?
Not interested.
That's not what my tracker says.
Are you ever tempted to contact your wife?
No.
Afraid she would try to kill you?
I'd be surprised if she didn't.
Your body seems to be adapting well to the changes, Gabriel.
This is what you call well.
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and basically being here for this journey. Today's video is going to be, and I'm not sure about the title. I'm thinking when women want the perfect man, or a woman wants the perfect man. And of course, I always try to not go to extremes with this because not all women are the same. I do believe most of the time a woman wants a man that's higher than her to a degree, someone that she can look up to. And I'm going to throw a thing out there is I believe a lot of times when people are growing up, men look for their mothers and their potential wife or girlfriend, and women look for their father and a potential boyfriend or husband. Now, of course, though, that's not always absolute. I think that goes for most people, depending on if you grew up in a two-parent household, you had experiences with that gender, because sometimes the father is not there. In some rare cases, the mom's not there. I do think if you have some type of relationship with them, that will be your dating experience, because those will be the type of men that you are attracted to. I can say for some exes of mine, when I look at their dating choices besides me, the ones before and after me, the ones that dogged them out or treat them bad or like trash. I look back at their relationship to their dad, and it was a similar dynamic. Even if they hated their dad, it seemed like they repeated that in their relationship choices. Even if they got with a guy like me that was not their dad per se, they themselves tend to be the toxic one because they wanted that kind of dynamic. I can't find that clip right now, but it's a clip that, what's the actress name that was in the Transformers movies? I know her last name is Fox. She said that because of the dynamic between her dad and her mom, she either would be like her mom in the relationship or she would be like her dad in the relationship, depending on how the other person was acting. Look, that's what I'm saying. When you're out here dating, you almost has to be like a therapist or a psychologist or something. And I do not want to be putting in that type of work. Can we get people that are a little bit more put together? And not to say other people don't have faults, but you should not have to be competing with that particular thing there. I have 2 videos. I'm going to share that first clip again because that is why, and this is actually a little shot at the lead attorney with this particular thing, when a woman says that man was not my type before. I could say with my last serious ex-girlfriend, because she was a little bit heavier than what I usually go for, that she was not my type. But I would never say that in front of people that we were about to get married or amongst friends. I probably would not tell her that either. That I would take that to my grave with that particular thing. And of course, I just meant that I've got used to dating women that's a smaller package. Now, she and I had great chemistry and we got along. So I guess I could use that thing, well, she grew on me, but because I gave her a chance, then that didn't matter as much. Then when things went south, that's the first thing I went back to. I'm like, that person wasn't even my type to begin with. I was expecting a different result and I got the same thing. So let's go back to that clip
again. I did some research. I found out that most women never marry the man they really want to be with. Oh, I'm about to mess up the church's money, ain't it? Let me tell you, this is how I figured it out. Let me tell you something you've never heard a man say since you've been alive. You've never heard a man say this since you've been on this planet. You've never heard a man say, she grew on me. But every woman knows a woman who would say in front of the man she loved, committed to God, financed the wedding and his family. When I first met him, he was not my type at all. He was short. He was going bald. He had little small hands. I don't like men with small hands, but I mean, eventually he grew on me.
That's because men love and women use.
Okay. And that right there is the thing. Now he's wrong. He's wrong in a way that a lot of men just don't say it. Women, just when they are with the guy they're not really feeling, they are so confident to say that right in front of his face. Say, oh, that guy just wasn't it. Now, I can say the same thing with some of the women in my past. Like, they wasn't really it for me because maybe their attitude or their personality or their weight or the people they hung around, if I was going to get particular, I just wouldn't go around saying it to everyone or every time we are somewhere, because otherwise, why is I'm saying that and I'm with the person? So men do think the same way. We just don't say it, or we are emotionally intelligent enough to not say it, because if we did it, then it would be an issue. Now, when I hear women say that type of thing right there, it just totally turns me off. And that's why if she says, you're not my type, he wasn't my type or something, red flags. I'm not saying you can't have fun with her, still date her, become boyfriend and girlfriend. Do not have kids with her. And I probably would say do not marry her. And of course, sometimes people can change their mind because sometimes you can meet somebody. Okay, I'll say this. This is not the majority of time, but this can happen. It's kind of like if you meet somebody at work. It could be a guy or girl. And you don't like the person, like, oh, I cannot stand them. But you don't really know them, and they don't really know you. Then some circumstance happens that you two are forced to interact with each other. And then you find out months later, maybe even a year later, because I've done this at some of my jobs, and people that I don't really talk to because I just didn't like the energy or feel that I was getting from them. Then we get along, and then you're like, oh, they're cool people. Whereas sometimes you meet a person and they make a good first impression, and then when you know them later, then you don't like them. Now, I do believe sometimes that is the case, because that was the case with the ex-girlfriend, okay? And sometimes maybe those women mean that. Just that the fact that they say, well, I always go similar like in the Travis Hunter situation, how she is acting toward him, doing certain things. And not to say he doesn't play into that, because he laughs and giggles and they be playing around. And that could be a dynamic of their relationship. Looking back at my longest relationship right there, it was certain things that she did that it didn't bother me at the time. Maybe because I was happy to have an attractive woman that was into me, that was my type. Looking back, though, I'm like, I don't think she respected me. Sometimes she did, but a lot of times she didn't. Otherwise, she wouldn't did the shit that she did. Anyway, this story, this video is really about women wanting the perfect man. And how a lot of men, well, not a lot of men, but there will be men that will try to be that perfect man and fail because it's set up to fail. How can you be a dream or a fantasy? The same way with that dynamic with a woman trying to compete with a man's dream woman, except for men usually don't put women through the hurdles as a woman would pit a man. So I have a video by Manosphere Highlights, and I'll be right back.
All right, no, okay. If we're gonna have it, let's have it all.
1 minute I was the answer to your prayers, and 5 minutes later no one would give me the time of day.
Once upon a time in the small town of Eastwick, 3 middle-aged single women, Alexandra, Zuki, and Jane, dreamed of the perfect man. And guess what? This perfect man manifests in the form of Daryl Van Horn, played by the legendary Jack Nicholson. What's captivating about this perfect man in The Witches of Eastwick isn't just his charm. It's how he reflects what women truly desire. But here's the twist. Is the perfect man actually perfect? After all, we're talking about women's desires here. Complex, layered, and unpredictable. Jack Nicholson's brilliance as an actor shines through in this film, with scenes so epic that we're breaking them down Red Pill style. Oh, and shout out to Patreon gang member Mr. HR for requesting this video. Salute! Let's dive in. Spoiler alert! This video contains spoilers, so you've been warned.
Ain't that a man?
What are we doing with ourselves? Ozzy's dead. I loved him. He's dead. Does that mean that I have to spend the rest of my life having drinks with you two every Thursday night?
Why would 3 middle-aged women wish for the perfect man? Let's break it down. Alex is a widow. Zuki's divorced with 6 kids, and Jane's divorce stemmed from her inability to have children. Stuck in a rut and yearning for excitement, the trio meets every Thursday, and on this particular Thursday, they decide to wish for a man who could change their lives.
All right, no, okay. If we're gonna have it, let's have it all. Who should we be looking for?
Somebody nice, somebody you could like.
Here's the breakdown of their wish. Someone nice, someone you could like. Nobody wants an outright jerk, but being overly nice, a pushover, isn't attractive either. That's the classic quote-unquote nice guy finishes last trap.
Somebody with a brain, somebody you could talk to.
Somebody with a brain, someone you could talk to. Intelligence is about solutions. A man who can problem solve is valuable. But here's the kicker. When women say talk, they often mean listen.
Someone you could really be yourself. Yes.
Someone you can really be yourself with. Comfort is crucial, but here's the rub. Women's emotional nature means their actions are heavily influenced by their feelings, often leaving men scratching their heads. More on this later.
You would definitely have to be from out of town. Well, especially considering what's in town, Janie.
A stranger, that would be interesting.
New faces spark intrigue. This reminds me of my cousin. Girls loved him because he was the mysterious guy from a different city. Today, dating apps have expanded women's reach, making it harder for 80-90% of men to compete.
And that's why, if you are a man of average looks and average height, I'm not even going to say money, because I see men struggling that are tech CEOs or millionaires, even billionaires. If their looks is not on par with their money, then they have to just lean on their money, and it seems like they silly putty and most of the women that they are attracted to. Now, of course, they should probably pick women that's more in their looks range, probably, instead of the Instagram models. I do think the same thing when women have that reach to be able to get in the presence of superstars like a Chris Brown or a Chad or Tyrone, and that's understandable. It's just, as men, though, we definitely have to be more realistic, especially since when we choose wrong, we pay the price. So if you are that man that's not in the top 10 in looks and really tall, I would say date out of the country. Now, you could meet a woman here. I'm not saying you cannot meet the women here. It's just so much work, and you could go through all that work for nothing. So, and by that, I mean, you could get a woman that picks you just because she can't get with the guy that she wants to be with, because this happened to me in my marriage, and she starts treating you any kind of way, and you will put up with that because you will think that's the best that you can get. And before she leaves you, which at the end, once again, I'm the one that put the nail in the coffin by me getting her into some legal trouble. Not intentionally, but accidentally, I got her into some legal trouble. The thing was, I wouldn't have got into that situation there if she had respected me and loved me better. And on my end, I put my foot down and was willing to leave. Maybe I could have snapped some sense into her. So don't make my same mistake. Let me continue.
A tall, dark prince traveling under a curse. In Eastwick. Romantic.
And here it is, Disney Princess Syndrome. Desiring a 6-foot-tall, dark, romantic prince instantly eliminates 85% of men based on height alone. Factor in prince, and you're down to the top 1%. Unrealistic, right?
Handsome. He should be really handsome.
Not too handsome. Nice eyes.
Nice ass.
He should be handsome. Of course, who doesn't want an attractive husband or wife? But here's the red pill. Desiring something doesn't mean you'll get or even deserve it. Most people are average, and most women won't marry their tall, dark, handsome fantasy. Keep dreaming.
Huge.
No, I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my entire life.
Here's where things get interesting. The women's wishes come to life in the form of Daryl Van Horn. Jack Nicholson is genius casting. His charisma is magnetic but unconventional, making the attraction less about looks and more about his personality. If someone like Tom Cruise played Daryl, the complexity would vanish. Nicholson's devilish edge and wit make the role.
Is that the way you feel about it?
I have to get home.
What have you got to go home to, Alex? There isn't anybody there.
I'm exactly where I want to be and I'm doing fine.
Pretending to be somebody else? Pretending to be half of what you are? Waiting for something to happen and knowing all the time that you were meant for something better. Use me. Fill me up. I can take it. Do it now.
Alex initially says she's not attracted to Daryl, yet she sleeps with him. Why? Because Daryl created intrigue before they even met. He's the talk of the town, the mysterious man who bought the Eastwick mansion. Status is king. Modern example?
I'm gonna tell all the tea.
Spill all the tea.
He was a friend.
I was in a friend.
Alright, now how did we meet, babe, for real?
What you mean, how did we meet?
How did we meet, for real?
I shot myself on Instagram and she dubbed me.
And I just didn't respond to him. He wasn't my type. So then I left him.
I wasn't her type.
I left him in my DMs for like 2 months. And then finally I answered him. But I didn't want to like be nothing. I just wanted to.
Status trumps looks. Before Travis Hunter's football fame, no one cared. After, everyone wanted him. Daryl showcases this perfectly, combining status with a masterclass in tapping into women's desires.
Are you going to seduce me too?
Yeah.
I've said it many times on this channel. Most women are boring, not out of hate, but because they are conditioned to receive rather than create excitement.
Men are such suckers, aren't they? You don't have to answer that.
Daryl flips the script. He's the architect of every thrilling experience, tailoring his approach to each woman's unique desires. The women's laughter and flight symbolize something deeper. It's not just witchcraft, it's dopamine. Daryl makes them feel alive, special, and free. This is the core of women's desires, to feel desired and liberated. But here's the kicker. Men pour all this energy into creating these experiences. What do they get in return?
1 minute I was the answer to your prayers, and 5 minutes later no one would give me the time of day.
Suki could die, don't you understand that?
I can't help that.
Yes, you can. Don't lie to me, Daryl.
You deserted me. We had a deal.
That's no reason to...
Yes, it is. You pissed me off. What was I supposed to do? Take it like a man? Christ, I gave you everything I got. I gave you more than anybody's ever given you. And what do I get in exchange? A little thank you, a little gratitude. I'll tell you what I get. I get screwed.
Oh, cut the crap, okay? Just tell me, what do you want from us?
I want somebody to give me shirts. That's what I want. I want somebody to pay a little attention to me. I want a little respect. I want somebody to take care of me for a change. Huh? How about that? What do I want? Christ! What does any man want? A little affection. A little trust. God damn it. Everything I did for you. Well, I was wrong. Go ahead. Go on, go back to your miserable little life. Go on, f me if I care. That's what you want.
That's what you get. You're not the only 3 women in the world, you know.
This is pure gold. When the women were fantasizing about the perfect man, notice they never stopped to ask what they would have to do for him.
I want somebody to pay a little attention to me. I want a little respect. I want somebody to take care of me for a change.
This scene brilliantly exposes a truth about relationships. Women's priorities often center around their own desires, not the needs or wants of the man. The frustrations of men, especially those who give and give without reciprocation, are masterfully acted out by Jack Nicholson.
Everything I did for you.
Like I always say, you do not build equity with women. It doesn't matter what you've done for the last 5 years. All that matters is what you've done for her lately. And the first sign of adversity, these women drop Daryl like he's nothing, despite the fact that he gave them everything they asked for.
1 minute I was the answer to your prayers, and 5 minutes later no one would give me the time of day.
This is what happens when relationships are built on superficial ideals rather than grounded in mutual understanding and rational thought. When you act on impulse instead of reason, you create a dynamic that's unsustainable.
Wow, that right there is so true. Now, I have to admit, that's kind of a boring movie. I think I saw that a long time ago. I have no interest to see that movie again. I think my mom was watching it when I was a kid or something. See, I have real good memory of movies. I just won't remember the name of the movie, but I remember Jack Nicholson and those women in there. Now, the only thing that was left out a little bit. They turned on him when he did something to, I forget if it was to one of their friends or to one of them, but I think it was to one of their friends, and then they decided to get him back. Thing was, I feel what he was saying because he was nice to them and he did everything that he could for them. And in the end, it did not matter. And I will admit, now it's different now because my ex-wife treats me respectfully. But I think the only reason it is, once again, is because of my YouTube channel. Not because of the things that I did in the past. Look, understand that things don't work out with people and people break up and stuff. If you know the person was a good person, maybe it didn't work out. Do you have to be nasty and mean to them at every turn, treating them like dirt and act like everything was their fault instead of looking at yourself? That's what I would ask her. And I know she would not give me a clear answer, but hopefully she would think. This is the thing that has me leery of a lot of women these days. As a man, I don't ask much of them. Now, I usually want a woman to do things for me to somewhat, whether make me breakfast in the morning or surprise me with a gift or something, only because the things that I learned in my past relationships, despite the fact it only went so far, it seems like if you are not her dream guy, at least if she is investing, and once again, I think if you are her dream guy, she will invest right off the bat. But if she's investing, doing some things to you, it don't even have to be big things, but being supportive, being there for you, not putting you down, surprising you with small gifts, bringing you something to eat for lunch. I mean, I remember an ex-girlfriend of mine, she had got off work early and she could have left. I would have been okay with that, but she waited for me to get off of work. And actually, I think this was before we was together, and she had got me some snacks to eat or got me some ice cream or something, but she waited for me. It's little things like that you want a woman to do, and I'm pretty sure men that do love their woman, the same thing like Travis Hunter. He said that she was there for him and she moved him in. Now me, I have that type of loyalty. Despite the fact she is acting funky in some aspects, the fact that she's there for me when I really need it. I don't know why the screen is doing this. When I really need it, I will always remember it. Thing is, though, now I wonder sometimes that people do certain things to manipulate you so that you will stay loyal to them. That's something that you have to be conscious of, too. So, I'm going to try to definitely, because sometimes I forget, but I'm going to leave a link to the full video. You can watch the full video of Manosphere highlights breakdown in this video. And still unsure about what I'm going to name this video. I might name it one of the last things that he said about it doesn't matter what you did for her in the past. It only matters what you have did lately. And to a degree, I understand. I just feel like women treat men like a sports team would treat a NFL or basketball player. It doesn't matter that you had scoring titles and helped them to win championships in the past. Once your productivity drops, they drop you or they start making you ride the bench. That's exactly how a lot of women end up doing their men later. However, if a man did the same way, such as when he be comparing women to cars and stuff, saying that if she gains weight or something, he's going to leave, then he'd be wrong. So, unless if you meet a woman that doesn't support any of that rhetoric that some of these women be saying, and I have to credit those women that do be saying crazy stuff online because at least they are being honest. It's the women that, and if you fall for their stuff, that's on you. It's the women that don't say this stuff and say, oh, I will always be there for you. Oh, I would not never hurt you. Oh, I love you for you. The money doesn't matter. Those women that lie, those are the women that you have to watch out for. Give me a like and subscribe. Have a good night.
I believe a man can love a woman unconditionally, but I don't think a woman can love a man unconditionally.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I beg to differ. I think it's the other way around.
No.
I think a woman can love a man unconditionally. And
Not
most men...
Not forever.
You don't think so?
No.
Damn.
No. I think when a man loves a woman for real, like, he'll love her forever.
$bills, keep you falling from me. I love the way I feel, boss. Some money, dropping on my money. Drop some money on a sister, yummy, yeah. Drinking, buy that things I like. Buy, stopping in my ass tonight. Some money, dropping on my money.